gentlemen, we are live for episode 7 of the Limitless Range Basketball Podcast here on Ellis Highlight Reel. I'm your host, as always, Brandon Ellis. And I got my boys, Jacob Perrine and Shane Foley from Total Apex Sports. Say what's up, fellas.
What up, what up, what up?
What's happening?
It's been a crazy whirlwind of an offseason, even though it's kind of died down in the NBA. But we did have a big trade in terms of second apron and maybe the Atlanta Hawks becoming another dark horse team in the East. The Atlanta Hawks ended up getting Lou Dort from the Oklahoma City Thunder in a 3-team trade, also involving the Dallas Mavericks, so the terms of the deal are Atlanta gets Dort and Andrew Nembhard, I think it is. No,
Ryan Nembhard.
Ryan Nembhard. Yeah, the brother, not Andrew. My fault. The Thunder get Ryan Nembhard. Yes.
Yeah.
That is my fault. Oklahoma City gets 3 second-round picks in the deal. And then the Mavericks get Zachary Richardson, who needed a new, fresh start after being the number 1 pick in the 24 draft, and not working out for the Hawks. And now he gets to go and play with Cooper Fleck and Kyrie Irving. Maybe that relaunches him. So we'll see what happens with Richardson. We'll talk more about Richardson, but I think the biggest winner of this deal is probably Atlanta. Obviously getting a veteran and Lou Dort to help stabilize that guard lineup for them. Jacob, your thoughts on this?
Well, I do agree that Atlanta won the trade initially, just because you think about even before the Lou Dort trade, they got Aaron Wiggins in another trade with OKC. Yep. And then so you add in, another guard to that, and Ryan Nembhard. And then you add in, a great defensive player in Lou Dort who can cover, the first, probably 1 through 4 spots defensively. So you're getting a lot of, and this is what the Hawks really built their team on last year. Towards the end of the season, that second half was defense. I think they were top 3 in defensive rating after the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. So they're really building on their culture and what they want to do as a team. And I also think, they're adding great depth while doing it. They really need more ball handling depth. And I think getting guys like Aaron Wiggins, Ryan Nembhard, and, I think they'll probably still do a little bit more in free agency. I know they already re-signed CJ McCollum. So they're going to do a little bit more in free agency to probably do that. But for this exact trade, I think they're the big winner. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'll also go into it too. I think the move puts Nall coming off the bench as well for them. I think that's what happens here. Maybe. I don't know. That's the tough thing, because Nickeil Alexander-Walker was one of the key players for the Hawks run last year.
Yeah.
Especially his second half of the season.
Yeah. I don't see. I don't foresee him coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Just because there's not a whole lot of guard depth. Who are you going to put ahead of him on the depth chart there when it comes to starting? Maybe I don't really know anybody else that you would pick over him, so he would still be in the starting lineup. It's more so bench depth that they have.
Yeah. Well, here I think ESPN had a graphic saying it was McCollum, Dort. Oh no, McCollum. I forgot who they had at the 2, but then Dort, and then John.
Dyson Daniels. You're thinking Dyson Daniels.
Dyson Daniels. They had in the 2.
Yeah.
And then Lou Dort, and then Johnson, and then the Okongwu.
Okongwu.
Yeah. So that was their 5 that the ESPN had. With Nall probably coming off the bench. But I think I would just stay with Dyson at the 2 and Nall at the, either at the, or Dyson at the 1. It just depends.
Well, Dyson is a tall. I think he's 6'5", 6'6". So you could conceivably put him over to the 3. But I think for them, I don't think Na is not going to start at all. You know what I
Right.
mean? He already played a bench role in
Last
Minnesota.
year.
He came to the
Right.
Hawks because he wanted to get a starting job. He got the starting job. I don't think the Hawks are really going to move off of him and say, "Hey, can you come off the bench? We're going to have
Right.
Dyson here at the second." I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's just it's an interesting dynamic with all these like combo guards that Atlanta has really right now. Especially McCollum. Is more of a combo guard, even though he's been a point guard a lot of his later career after he left Portland. Same with like Dyson can also play the 1-2 at times. It's just it's a fun. They're a fun team, especially with Kispert coming off the bench still. They're a fun team.
They're gonna be a problem on defense. I know that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be a problem with all these long defenders they have now. They're gonna be a problem.
100%. All right,
Shane,
so
who do you think won? I know you think Atlanta won, but is there anybody else you think just like sneakily won this trade?
Well, normally I'd say Atlanta won, but now ESPN has got me thinking because I was under the understanding that Nikhil is starting, and if he does what he did, where was a player that he was a finalist for last year.
Yeah, he was averaging like 20 something. He was averaging an insane number.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he would be pissed, and I imagine his agent would be pissed if you do that, and then you're coming off the bench. And like, I don't know. The thing is with Luke, like, and if without him, you're third ranked deep after the All-Star break. You know, you got to debate what you're bringing built on defense, but at some point you got to think of what you're doing on the offensive end, and I think a lot of I think okay. I'll say this: a sneaky. It's not like the Thunder lost this trade because you know they had an issue that I think the Hawks might encounter if they start Dort, which is that okay. So Lou Dort plays solid defense, then you get the ball, and you know, when he was on the Thunder, every time he took a shot. Was rough because if he missed, the fans are going to scream it. Why didn't Shai shoot? Where's Alex Caruso? Where's Jared McCain? Where's AJ Mitchell? All of the myriad shooters that they have on this team. So if they start Lou Dort, you know, at Atlanta, it'll be the same thing. Like if especially if you have Dyson playing a little bit of one or it's McCollum or whatever, you know, you can get the ball rolling, get a team playing backup. And Lou Dort shoots and misses, everyone's going to say, where was Nikhil? You know?
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. Now, and then here's the other thing about the Thunder is I think the NBA needs to be very scared because look at what they're doing. They stacked so highly on guard last year that they could afford to get rid of Isaiah Joe, Andrew Wiggins, now Lou Dort. They're getting draft capital for all of them. They're still They're still going to be able to. They don't lose at the position because they still got Mitchell, McCain, Caruso. God forbid any one of those, you know, 2-round picks become a star, or they package him in something to move up in the draft. Like,
we'll just think how balanced their team looks now during this offseason because they got rid of those guards and they played even though they were like more like into the bench guys like Isaiah Joe and all of them were not, you know, getting a whole lot of playing time because they have a really deep bench. They replaced those guys with a lot of draft capital, and then they still have, you know, like you said, McCain, Caruso, Mitchell, who's come along nicely for them. And then you add in a Damara who now helps solidify the front court a little bit more with Jalen Williams out there. So they're just so well balanced now as a team that it's just like I can't see them not being, you know, the first seed in the West again.
Yeah, they're going to be the first seed in the West. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Ricochet a little bit here because his game, I think Taylor's more with maybe a Maverick situation than it was with Atlanta. He can play.
Well, he started out being the 4. He was like between the 3 and the 4, but then Jalen Johnson came along and took his job.
Right.
So then he was kind of relegated to coming off the bench. So I'll let you continue. I just wanted to add.
I'm great. It's great that you highlight where he started, and then him come off the bench. And I think too, he doesn't have to be the guy necessarily that the Atlanta expected him. Like Atlanta wanted him to be and didn't get from him.
I mean, he was the first overall pick. They had high expectations for him. So,
which is, I think, now on hindsight, the worst first pick they could have went with. In that situation, we ended up getting rid of him. Like,
well, like that was 2024 was a weak draft anyway. So,
I mean, to be honest, I think Steph, if you did a redraft, either Alex Sarr or Stephon Castle's the first pick.
Yeah,
I think Stephon Castle might be the first pick now.
Yeah, Castle will probably be the first.
Now,
like you said, outside of those two names, there aren't too many that you just look at. You're just like, oh yeah, those guys are great. Especially within the lottery.
Oh yeah. But Clinton's coming along too.
Yeah,
but he's not Steph Castle and Alex
slowly but surely. But like, in terms of the talent, like especially at the top of the order, you had Castle and Czar in there, but then you had like Zachary Richardson, who he was good. He's a good player, but he's not number 1 overall. Talented sort of player. So
So that
seemed like more of a throwaway pick, and then obviously he didn't live up to expectations, and they traded him away. So
and I feel like Dallas getting Risache kind of like doesn't put as much pressure on Morez Johnson right away either. Even though he looked good in summer league, I would say it doesn't put as much pressure on him to like succeed right away with that being the 9th pick. You can use Risache in spots off the bench if you needed him to, or like that's the thing. You still got like PJ Washington. The depth at forward now just got a little bit better for Dallas.
I agree.
So with that Risache pick, so let's move on to the second part of this. Tyrese Halliburton went on Pat McAfee this afternoon. Talk about his health, his rehab. Saying he's feeling great, among other things. He also had we'll get into the LeBron stuff later, but he also had a little quirk about look, LeBron. I texted LeBron. He responded back to me with 6 crying faces, laughing, crying.
About joining the Pacers.
Yes.
Oh, so that was okay.
Yeah. So that's what happened there. But the big thing was he got into the second apron and how the second apron needs to be looked at in the next CBA. In the next CBA agreement. And I think I'm starting to lean with Tyrese here. For sure. Because it's really damaged teams' ability to create dynasties with this second apron. I think that was the target with it. Obviously.
Well, they wanted to get rid of super teams.
Yep.
So they wanted to get rid of those big super teams, and I agree with you. I just think it hasn't worked out. It's been kind of a really missed opportunity with it.
Yeah, it's not been one of those things. And I agree with Tyrese with his overall. You can't keep these teams together as long. You get the Celtics, they get that one championship.
Yeah,
and they had to blow it up right away, right afterwards.
Yeah,
he used the Celtics point because, obviously he was on Pat, and also obviously Boston Connor was the one that asked that question about the second apron, and so he used Boston as an example. Also, why a trade goes into this trade, the Thunder had to get rid of Wiggins, like we said, Joe, we said, Aaron, and Lou Dort.
Yeah,
because of the second apron, and obviously they got younger. With especially Ben, I think Ben Sturts getting Ben Sturts from the Grizzlies.
Yeah. I forgot to mention him too.
Yeah, that was the.
So they got another guard. They add another guard onto their.
Add the guard, another guard to the depth, and that was the win that they needed to be like, all right, we can get rid of Lou Dort this offseason. Let's just find the right partner that wants him.
Yeah.
So. let's take the time and define the right package and get as much as we can for Lou Dort. And because even though the rookies didn't really play well for their summer league team so far. Like the stars play good, but Daimara didn't play that great in the games that he played. Obviously,
well, look, they don't have Coach Dagnall there for summer league. Once they get in that locker room and get around those vets and Dagnall, I think you're going to see them get a lot of playing time, and they're going to look really freaking good by the end of the year.
I agree with you there. I mean, that's the thing. So we'll see what happens with the rookies for the Thunder. The second apron. But going back to the second apron, Jacob agrees with me. Shane, what are your thoughts on Tyrese's comments about the second apron?
Well, I get where Tyrese is coming, but I actually defend the second apron a bit.
Yeah.
Just kind of said it in your thing, like they wanted to get rid of super teams, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
So look at So now let's look at 2020s. How many different champions we've had? Knicks, Thunder, Celtics.
We got a different champion every single year.
Champion every single year. So in that respect, the second apron has been successful. Where it has not been successful is a very unpopular policy. What I would love to, I didn't see the whole Tyrese had. I've heard a lot of people talk about second apron. I know Kevin Love hates it, for example. There are other prominent basketball stars that just hate it. But what I haven't heard, and maybe you guys can shed some light, if you get rid of an apron, then do you do anything else? Or do you just say, here's your luxury tax, here's your first apron, and then pay whoever you want? Like, is there a solution?
Well, you could go back to the old school way before the second apron, where it was just luxury taxes, and a lot of teams would just pay through the nose for it. So you could just go back to that old system. But the thing is, I like the second apron. I just don't like how it's used. It's more so like it's more so used as collective punishment for everybody. Yes, even though, like, you have teams like Indiana, because obviously Tyrese plays for Indiana. That's not a big market team, so they don't have the same level of income and cash that they can use to dole out for players to come play for them. So it ends up punishing them. And even though teams like New York, LA, or the big market teams can kind of just stack their rosters better, like especially Philly now that they are doing it, they're probably going to have to pay huge amounts for second apron. But even then, it's just they can pay the money, whereas the smaller market teams have to pinch it a little harder, and it hurts them building their team.
Just look at the Hornets trade for LaMelo. Yeah. I mean, I would think that was them giving up on LaMelo a little bit and moving forward with the Concacaf era as the guy. But at the same time, I think it's more so the second apron aspect of it too.
Yeah,
I think they wanted to keep LaMelo, but they realized, all right, we're not the biggest market. I think they think they want Khan to be the guy over LaMelo. It fits the style of play of the new coach, and everything like that more than LaMelo did. And they can fill the position of point guard to the new style that they introduced last year. And so I think that's where the second apron hurt Charlotte, but I think they're shifting philosophies anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like how it makes teams have to think a little bit more strategically rather than just like, we'll just sign this guy, sign that guy, sign this guy, sort of thing. And I kind of like it in terms of that, especially with how bloated these contracts are for free agents anymore. Everybody's getting paid at least over $30 million if you're at least a decent, player. So I feel like it's good in that sort of sense, but at the same time, like I said before, it's collective punishment when all these franchises aren't equal in terms of their income and how much money they can throw around.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I'm sure whoever's running, or even Ballmer. I mean, he has enough to allegedly pay Kawhi under the table. So look how much money he has. I actually agree with you 100%. And in terms of that aspect, and if it's for second apron reasons, I definitely don't think that like LaMelo or Knipple was the kind of juggling acts, big decisions that teams would have to go through, when they made the second apron. I think Silver wanted to get rid of like the big threes, Durant with Curry and Clay, no more LeBron with Wade. So I get that. But I think the spirit of that, you would think that if you want more parity in the NBA, that should come with lower markets being able to win.
Yeah.
And that sort of lifts boats, because then if they win, they have good players, and then fans will go to the games to see those players. It kind of helps out.
The problem is like when the NBA tries to switch these philosophies, they kind of swing the pendulum too far each time, because they did it for when the Big Three era came about. They swung the pendulum towards, okay, we're going to build out super teams, we're going to be a little bit more lenient on the cap, and we'll just have teams pay out luxury taxes, and whatever happens. And whereas, people are complaining about that, now you're just like, well, you're kind of getting like the penny pinching teams that can't really build a team. Whereas, teams that can have a little bit more space, like, New York, they can sort of just subvert the cap a little bit. Whereas, other teams can't do the same level because they don't have the same amount of money.
But see, I look at a team like New York, and then I think I'm pretty much on. I don't like the way the second apron is used now, but I think something like that needs to be in place. And I look at that Knicks team, and that's exactly why. Because now, I don't think if it was for the second apron, entire country would know who OG Anunoby is. They would know Cat and Brunson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I don't think that teams should have that much difficulty when building who they want to, but at the same time, like, I feel like you can still build. It's just you need role players. You can't have star superstar equals championship. So I mean I know a lot of people don't like the second apron, but like we need I think that's healthy for the NBA to have something there to just stop the building, because like you said, Jacob, people would just pay luxury tax. Sure, I get LeBron and D Wade, luxury tax.
Or Lakers with Kobe during his later years. Luxury tax it out, whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. 100%.
That was the main thing. That's the main thing. I mean, second apron, I think it's worked in some aspects. It needs improvement in others. And so
it needs tweaking. It doesn't need, like, we don't need to get rid of it, but it just needs a lot of good tweaking to it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask one more question before we switch. A quick question on this. The people I'm thinking of, I mean, Tyrese is certainly not on a super team, but he did make the finals last season. You got Kevin Love. You have other people talking out about it. Do you think that some of the players want to get rid of the second apron because they're a super team, or are they just looking out for the league?
Maybe a little bit of both. Just because, hey, I want to, play with this great player. Everybody in this day and age is a little bit more buddy in the NBA. So you're like, I want to play with that guy. I think certainly there's an aspect to it, but I also think they also recognize it's not healthy for the league if for the overall parity of it, if I'm on a great team because my management knows how to, pinch our pennies and build the team via draft picks or things like that, whereas other teams don't have the same luxury, so they want a little bit of competition, but also a little bit of camaraderie.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, to respond to your question, Shane, I think it's like Jacob said, it's both, but I think I lean more to, I think from Halliburton's perspective, I think he wants to help the league. I think he does. I think Halliburton is one of those guys that's got that perspective and for the league. He's one of those guys that you can look around and doesn't think about it like him as a player selfishly. He thinks for the betterment of the game.
Well, I could see Tyrese being more definitely the president of the Players Association in the future.
Yes,
I could definitely see
agree
him
with
being
that.
like that.
Yeah,
he approaches things, especially like this, a lot more diplomatically than most players do. So I agree with you on that, Brandon.
Yeah. And then, Caleb was a part of one of the super teams back in the day, too. So that's the thing with Kevin Love.
That's it. And it's just like when I hear the sentiment of guys with each other, it's like I only get with it so far as like, yeah, you want to play with your friends. Like, I get it. I love that teams, you can build bonds of brotherhood that you rarely see in other walks of life. I love all that. But like, if all your friends are superstars and you're like, oh, we can't sit, because that's what Kevin Love said. I forget what podcast he was on, but he goes, you're telling me OKC can't keep their big three together? So Shea, Chet, and Jay Will together is who he was talking about. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm sure that also might apply to Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron James as well. Just saying. But so it's like I'm cool with people playing with who they want with, but like at the same time, it can't be just like, I just want to stay on my team with all the superstars and we can go to the finals every year.
So I think that was a good one to end on to get this session. We can maybe go into more in depth over the next few weeks as well. But let's move into the WNBA and start with an unfortunate topic that kind of taints one of the expansion teams, unfortunately, with the Sandy Brondello comments about Andy Reese that got her a suspension. She did apologize, as she should, for the comment. Jacob, you want to provide the details of what the comment was?
Well, apparently during the game between Toronto and Atlanta, I guess it was like last Thursday, something like that. I don't know exactly when the game happened, but apparently during the game, Sandy Brondello said to Angel Reese, I don't know the full. I don't know what fully was said between them, but all I know is she said somewhere in there that she called Angel Reese a protected species. So obviously that's a big no-no. It has a lot more racial elements to it that shouldn't take place in any form at any level in our society, sports or otherwise. And of course, the WNBA caught wind of this and handed out her suspension, and I think it was a well-deserved suspension. And I do appreciate Brondello coming out and apologizing about it. I think that was a big step for her to do that, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, no, I didn't say that. I think it was good for her to be like, yeah, I said that. That was messed up what I said.
Yeah, and then Reese was also appreciative of the apology as well.
Yeah,
from Brondello. So
it was a very genuine apology. It wasn't like some PR thing where you're just like, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. It felt very sincere.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was the thing there. So here's Reese's full quote. First, I appreciate Sandy's apology, but I also appreciate the love support I've had for the last 48 hours since it happened. This was an article that ESPN did yesterday on the situation. It has been a very overwhelming. It has been very overwhelming with a lot of love and also other things. But I am grateful that the league did take action on it. So the league took the action on it and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the league took action on it, because they're trying to grow the game, and those comments from Brondello doesn't really grow the game.
Well, I'm glad they were able to do it really quickly too, because sometimes you get to these leagues and you're just like, well, we'll do an investigation into the matter, and it takes months to do. Whereas for this, it was just like, okay, we see it, we got it, coming down with the punishment right now. So I like how quickly decisive they were about it.
And I'm glad. I'm glad it was only one game suspension. And be like, oh, it could have been more, or it could have been like the suspension was a suspension. And Brondello, as the coach she is, knows better and apologized.
Yeah.
And is going to took it in stride.
Well, look, it's a first-time offense thing, so you don't want to just be like, okay, we're just going to hand you like if this were a common occurrence with Brondello, 1 game suspension, no, we shouldn't be doing that. But this was a thing that happened one time. Give her 1 game, be like, that's your punishment. There you go. Don't do it again.
Yeah. So here's Rondello's apology. Well, this is what she said. Have a ton of respect for her, but I wanted to make sure that she knows it was an emotional statement. It's a statement that's very common in Australia, as Brondello is Australian. It wasn't directed at Angel. I never do that to any kind of player. That's not the kind of coach I am or a player back in my day. It was just unfortunate. I was pretty emotional with Naira and her being injured again.
Yeah.
And I made a comment that Australians we say all the time. So So that was the thing. So I think what happened was Sabali got hurt with an injury with Reese. Like Reese caused the play that Sabali got hurt on, and Brondo,
Me and her coach got upset at it.
Yeah. So it was one of those situations.
Yeah.
Unfortunate situation. It happened. It's like the if you look at Major League Baseball, the the Duran situations for the Red Sox, where those kind of comments from the fans in the stands and all that stuff. It was kind of like that kind of a deal, but to a lesser extreme. Obviously, I think that the Duran situation was way worse than this situation.
Yeah.
But
in this situation, in comparison,
yeah,
I agree.
But there's other comparisons I could have made, but that was the first one. Watching those, probably gonna lose the game to Boston right now. Maybe still got the top. We'll see what happens.
Third place,
6-5 now. Boston with Derby.
And so we bring up Boston. The Bostonians just like, oh my god, the Red Sox are so good right now.
Yeah, they got their little hot streak.
Yeah, I feel bad for Angel. Whatever.
But no, let's move on to Caitlin Clark. Let's move on to some more positive news from the W this last week. We talked about at length and nauseum last week about the Caitlin Clark 11th guard via the players kind of ranking in the All-Star.
11th by the players in terms of guards for the All-Star game,
And we talked about nauseum last week. She goes ahead, I think, on Friday and dropped 45. 45 and 10 for the first time in WNBA history. So, Caitlin Clark proving us wrong, or proving the players wrong step by step. And why the media and the fans are more gravitated towards. I know she's polarizing because of the, most of her fandom is,
her fandom can be a bit toxic. We can say that.
Yeah,
but but her overall skill is undeniable, and her overall game is undeniable, and just her mentality. Same week that comment comes out where she's like, I'm the 11th best guard. They were ranked as the 11th best guard in the W when it comes to All-Star voting by players, and then she comes out Friday just like, okay, I'll just drop 45 and 10. Be the first player to ever do that. So she just has a great mindset that is just like, if you give her an ounce of motivation, she's going to take that a mile.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever might, if they keep on playing the way they're playing, they might make a run in the WNBA playoffs later in the year. I really do. I don't think they'll win the title, but I think they can make a deep run, maybe like they did last year, and make it to the final.
Yeah.
So
I could see another WNBA finals run for them. I just don't know if they win a championship, especially with how talented teams like Liberty and the Aces are.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I think the team that needs to play to get out of that.
Nafisa coming back, so I just don't see them having the same level of talent. But I guess, like you said, they're so hot right now, especially with Clark, coming on here during the midseason. They already got Kelsey Mitchell. They already got Aaliyah Boston. They're going to be a very tough out in the playoffs for anyone.
Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, let's get to Summer League. Wrapped up last night with the Warriors winning the Summer League over the Grizzlies, which saw Cameron Boozer actually playing in the championship for one of the first times, like a top lottery pick actually played the whole Summer League duration. Which was a great sight to see. Also, Cedric Howard too, having a great Summer League. Poised for a second-year leap. When he was already good last year as a rookie. He was pretty much one of the underrated rookies last year, Cedric Howard.
Well, I think he finished third in Rookie of the Year voting behind, obviously, Khan and Cooper were the cream of the crop when it comes to that class. But, he was right there for a minute, too. He had a great second half to the end of the season. So I think he'll have a great second-year leap.
Yeah. So, and then Cameron Boozer, Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson really put themselves in the conversation for Rookie of the Year this Summer League. Both of them. It was a Peterson DeBonsa award at obviously a draft night. Which one's going to prevail between those two? No, I think it's a 4-man race now.
That speaks to the strength of this class. I mean, we all knew coming in, the top 4 picks have generational talents written all over every single one of them. So it's no surprise that guys like Caleb and Cameron were able to dominate in the Summer League. And then now we're just like, okay, the race for Rookie of the Year is really going to be a heated one.
Yes. I'm going to be bold. I think Caleb Wilson's going to win it. I'm going to be bold and say that.
Yeah.
I love the
I don't think you're bold in that. Watching the Summer League, I don't think you're too bold with that take, man.
No, here's my reasoning. I think Peterson's going to be up and down most of the year with the Jazz.
Yeah.
I think DeBonsa is going to be the third guy in that Washington trio. I mean, until maybe halfway through the year when they realize, okay, DeBonsa should be getting the ball more than Trae Young and Davis. In that situation. Boozer, the thing with Boozer, it's going to be tough for Memphis all year to really do anything as they're starting to rebuild. At least with Chicago, they got pieces around Wilson to support Caleb Wilson. Let Caleb Wilson shine. Now,
like you said, for the situations regarding Chicago, I think Memphis to a certain degree, a lot of nights, Boozer's going to be the first option for Memphis, and for the Bulls, Caleb Wilson's going to be the first option for them. So whereas, DP and, AJ are not going to really, be the first options on their own teams because they're on really good teams,
Yeah, especially Utah. Utah's underrated this year. Like, even though they just lost Kessler to the Lakers, I mean, they still got Jaren Jackson Jr. They got Lowry. They got Keon. They got George. They got
Keontae. Oh, I love Keontae George, man. He's been excellent in his first 2 years.
Yeah,
I love what they're building in Utah with Keontae.
Actually,
and those guys.
The funny thing about Utah is that, and this is no respect to Peter DP because he's amazing, but he's kind of like their fourth option.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, really.
Keontae and Markkanen and JJJ.
He could be the third because Triple J isn't much of an offensive guy. He's more of like a 3-point shooter, and he gets in the post sometimes. And he scores about 16 points a game, so he's a good player. It's just DP will probably get a lot more shots, so probably he'll be the third option. But like you said,
they might feed him the ball more too,
maybe not even the third option because Keontae's in there too. So
exactly.
So
we'll see.
Hard for them with that. They're going to be so freaking good, I think,
with the rookie year,
core together.
Now another dark horse who won Summer League MVP, Mr. Lindenborg. That is another dark horse option for. And again, into the Warriors side of things, he's a dark horse because he's not going to get many opportunities with Steph Curry probably being the first option, Jimmy Butler being back, healthy.
I mean, he'll get his touches early on, but as soon as Butler comes back in January, he's not going to get the ball all that much. Yeah,
no, and so that's the thing. It's going to be an early season. I think it's early season dominance for Yaxel Lindenborg.
Yeah. I agree.
And then it kind of fades out. But I wanted to just say this. I think I was proven right that Jackson Lindenborg is the best of the Michigan the Michigan guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I think we all kind of agreed on that too. It wasn't like we were all like you were the only one pushing that. I think we were all in agreement.
No, we all
especially after what he
were.
did with Michigan.
I'm not saying I was just the one. I just wanted to say I need
Oh
right
no,
answers.
I know that.
I need right answers.
I'm just saying, I just wanted to give me and Shane a little bit of credit too. You know, this is a team effort here.
I know. All of us had that. All of us pegged it. I just wanted it after my horrible performance with the home run derby. I needed a little.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. You want to get a little bit your get back? I get that.
I need a little bit of redemption. So let's talk about that game last night. It was a good game back and forth between the Grizzlies and the Warriors.
Well, the Grizzlies were in control of it for most of the game, and then that fourth quarter, Yaxel and that entire Warriors defense just locked up and were able to explode on offense and pull away.
Yeah.
So the Warriors have been probably the most impressive summer league team because it's just Yaxel and a lot of random dudes. Yes. So I thought that was interesting that, you know, out of all these summer league teams that had loaded with talent, like the Memphis Grizzlies had Coward and Boozer, whereas, you know, the team with just Yaxel and a bunch of G Leaguers was just like, yeah, we're going to win it.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. Talk about it.
The lineup. No, I was going to say, to Jacob's point, I thought the lineups were funny because, the Warriors started like Yaxel. I think Will Richard got a couple minutes last season, and then it was old people that you never heard about. But
exactly.
I'm looking at the Grizzlies, and I'm like, Coward. This is like their starting
out of
lineup.
All, I can't name anybody out of Yaxel or Will Richard on that on that Warriors summer league team, man. I can't.
Yeah, but they should.
You know, it's not like it's not like 2017, the 2017 team or Lakers that won the summer league with Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Alex Caruso, and all those guys. Like, you can name that. Okay, that's a great freaking summer league team. But like this one was just like wasn't loaded with talent. It was just loaded with experienced guys and a bunch of no names outside of Yaxel.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
and then before we move on,
starting five.
For the summer league stuff, I also wanted to shout out, since we're talking about potential rookie of the year contenders, I want to throw Braden Burries into that. I would be remiss as an Arizona fan not to throw Braden Burries into that. 27 points per game in the summer league. Looked really freaking good, man.
Yeah, that's another dark horse that came out of summer league. A lot of people were probably going to sleep on is Burries. I do agree with you. Him and
he'll get his touches. I think he might not get as many touches just because you'll have Herro in that mix as well as Nate Ament and others who want to get their touches. But he's a definite dark horse because look, he was sort of like the second or third option on most nights for us at U of A. So he knows the role and he excels in the third option, second option role. So I think he'll be great for Milwaukee this season. Definitely a dark horse.
Both Milwaukee rookies are going to be good this season.
Yeah,
I really do. I think both of their picks are going to be really good for them. And Boston just squeaked by. The Orioles had runners on second and third. That's the baseball update. But shout out Chris and Shane. Chris and I will recap the Orioles Boston series over the weekend. As we get into it. But that being said, Chapman gets a save, of course. But Ed, let's go back to the rookie of the year discussion a little bit longer. I mean, obviously, you got to get A-Cup. You got to look at A-Cup, too, with the role that he's going to have in Sacramento.
Yeah.
As a potential guy that can really spoil things. So the rookie of the year race is probably going to be the most interesting award, I think, the rewards race this year.
Like, even though, like, a lot of, like, when we look at the lottery, you're going to have a lot of guys that are going to get a lot of options. They're going to get a lot of touches, like especially A-Cuff or maybe even a Keaton Wagler in there because, unless somehow the Clippers get Kawhi Leonard back because of the investigation. But at the same time, like, I think he'll get a lot of touches. It's just like all of these rookies are in, like, outside of probably Mikal Brown Jr., are in really good situations to develop their game.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think
So-
everybody outside of Mikal Brown Jr. just because of Brooklyn. I'm gonna crap on Brooklyn. Sorry,
Or Brooklyn.
It's Brooklyn. Yeah.
Everyone drafted.
Yeah, but
before
everybody else is in a
you
good
has a
spot except
chance.
Mikal Brown.
Okay.
Yeah. He could have a chance. He could have a great season because nobody else, because it'll just be like Michael Porter Jr. and just him out there on offense.
Yeah.
So I just don't. Yeah, but everybody else is just in such a great situation to succeed individually.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, let's get LeBron. The rumors said it was going to break this. It didn't really break.
Yeah.
They trust the process at X Fest over the weekend.
Yeah.
Don't read into that. He's saying trusting the process, and then said trust the process a little later on. That I don't think that meant anything when he was saying it. He realized that the oops happened or whatever, that he kind of said trust the process.
Yeah.
Played along with it. But there's that. I think LeBron, he's gonna milk it a little bit longer. Hopefully we get it, sometime this week. I've
seen people saying it'll be tomorrow at least. So hopefully it's quickly, because I would love for us to go into next week and talk about it.
That too, for us selfishly, but I want the schedule.
Exactly.
Adam Silver has officially said LeBron's decision is going to weigh what the schedule is going to be.
Heavy on the schedule.
Yeah, and that's why they're waiting to release it, is because of LeBron's decision. They might make some tweaks.
They might push him and be like, "Yeah, can we do it this week?" They might push him to do it.
Yeah. Like, can we get it out of the way? Like, get LeBron James out of the decision out of the way. But let's get into that decision that LeBron might make. Shams did report that we do have concrete news of which conference he's going to be in. He's going to be in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
He's not going to be in the West. He's going to go back to the East.
Yeah.
The three legit finalists are Miami, Cleveland, Philly. I think that's what I did gather from what Shams is reporting. And the two interesting ones, as me and Jacob kind of talked about beforehand, is Cleveland and Philly. Miami with their front court, it would be interesting with Bam and Giannis and LeBron to be a good idea of a front court, but I think Giannis being ball dominant and LeBron being ball dominant wouldn't work.
It's not going to work, yeah.
And at times, and I just don't know how. And LeBron can shoot, like he's gotten better over the years, but he's still not the greatest knockdown three.
Well, I always call LeBron an inconsistent shooter. Like, everybody's like, well, he shoots 41% from three. Yeah, that's one season. That's one season he does it, and so he's an inconsistent shooter. I just don't see that fit. I just don't see the fit with like the Heat, like we said beforehand.
Yeah, when we were talking beforehand, before Shane got in here, we were talking about, and the money for Miami would, they would have to finagle, and LeBron would probably have to take the minimum. I would have to think for him to go to the Miami Heat.
He already is.
Even though LeBron has said, or people close to LeBron, like Rich Paul, have been like, he's willing to take a pay cut. I just don't see that. How that would work out with Miami. He'd be like, does he want to take the minimum with Miami? Like, I just don't. And like we said, the fit doesn't match up there. So why take the minimum for something that's not, going to guarantee you a title contender,
That's true. But I saw people on ESPN talking like he is taking the veteran minimum, because that's been the big storyline, I think, with this decision, is he keeps saying it's not about money. It's about happiness.
I feel like he could take a mid-level exception deal. That would be a lot better for him. He'd get money out of it, but it would also be financially, fruitful for, whatever team he signs with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure whatever team gets him is going to be like, hey, look, you want to sign for $6 LeBron. If you want more money, we'll give you something.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that, so getting into the team I think LeBron signs with, I hope it's Cleveland, just because of the full storybook closing. The full storybook closing, like going back to Cleveland one more time, maybe bringing them home another championship, and then going off in the sunset. But I'm starting to think it's going to be the 76ers. The brains think the heart wants Cleveland. I think the brain's going to be saying 76ers. I think because of the Jaylen Brown trade, I think he's really interested in that, playing with Jaylen Brown. I think he also loves Maxey, as well as LeBron does. So I think that is an intriguing option for him. Now, and he also played with Joel in the Olympics, 24 Olympics team. So he knows how to play with Joel as well. In that whole ordeal. I think the reason I think Philly's the better title contender of the two. Even though I like Cleveland, don't get me wrong, I like what they're, and I think LeBron would help Donovan Mitchell. He would help with Evan Mobley, and he would help with Jared Allen, learn how to win, kind of deal. But at the same time, I think the Sixers with LeBron James pushes them with the Knicks as the favorites in the East. Legit title favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference.
Another thing we were talking about that I brought up when it came to Philly was obviously I talked about fit beforehand, especially Miami. But the fit doesn't have to just be from a game perspective. It has to be more so I think LeBron would thrive more as a third option behind guys like Tyrese Maxey, a Jaylen Brown, and a Joel Embiid. I think he would thrive in that sort of option because you kind of saw it last year when the Lakers were able to just be like, okay, LeBron, we need you to be a third option behind Reeves and Luka. And you saw that second half surge for them in March. I think they went 16-2. And that was when LeBron was averaging, he was the third leading scorer on the team instead of, being the second behind Luka. And I just think that dynamic plays better with a team like Philly just because the way Nick Nurse likes to coach teams, he's more of a ball. He likes to move the ball more, and he likes to go through, the more elite scorers. Not saying LeBron isn't a good scorer, but he's not the same scorer he used to be. So might as well get used out of his playmaking skills to set up guys like Jaylen Brown and Tyrese and Joel and all those. I think that I just think the fit just makes more sense with Philly.
Yeah. I think so too. Shane, do you agree with us, or do you think one of the other two options for LeBron?
Not Miami. I think it's very interesting that the word that LeBron keeps using is happiness.
Yeah.
I think if he defined happiness as I'm going to have the most storybook ending to my career, he would already be in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of agree with you, Brandon, that maybe now he's thinking Philly because, well, they have so many superstars and they don't really have an engine to their offense in terms of X's and O's. It often doesn't matter because either Embiid gets the ball and he scores, or by whoever and scores, or shoots a three and scores.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're getting down to the playmaking point I made my other thing, where it's just you have all these great scores, but nobody really to pass them the ball.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And you might get in Philly what I think LeBron ultimately wanted in LA, which was going to be, I'm going to get the ball in the post and then I'm going to pass to Luka, or I'm going to pass to Austin Reeves, and y'all are going to win it. And if y'all are having bad nights, then I'm going to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
I think that's the way he wants to play, especially in 41. So the situation, because they talk about it every day on ESPN, and I think it's hilarious because they talk about whether LeBron should hurry up and make his decision or take his time. And Mad Dog keeps saying, nobody in sports cares about where LeBron goes. And then he wakes up the next morning, and then that's the topic of discussion.
We're talking about that topic again.
And then continuously. So, but I generally feel I want this schedule, and I want it to break before next episode so we can talk about it, but I'm no rush at all. This is the final chapter of a storybook written by at least the second or third best player. I'll say at least third best and the ultimate best in many people's minds. Player that the NBA has seen.
Yes.
So I just, as much as Adam Silver can be like, hey, hurry up so we can get the schedule. It's kind of like we're not telling,
Yeah, LeBron's going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
It's like telling Kendrick Lamar, drop your next album. And he's like, okay, sure. You know what I mean? So like, so I really hope that he, got it. And I don't know, I'm kind of getting sentimental over LeBron because it is ending. And look, he's been a very controversial player going back to the first decision, but and other stuff in his career. But at the end of the day, we saw some great basketball from him. And now that it's coming to the end, I think we're kind of taking for granted what he is, because we all get stuck in the GOAT debate and what is he better than Jordan?
I think that overshadows it too much. I agree with you on that.
So, I think that's potential.
The star
that would get him the other ring. But again, it's that thing, happiness. And the last thing I'll say is that because he wants to take the vet minimum or at least take a huge pay cut, that makes it harder for him to make a decision. Because if all you want is money, you just move the numbers in the right direction, and the player is going to make the decision that's most financially sound. You can't do that.
Like we said, he could go to Cleveland. That'd be the most financially fruitful for him. But but I don't think he'd be in the same position to win like Philly, like we said before.
So actually, I'll say this: I predict that it's Philly because he's taken this long to think about it. If he thought, Cleveland is home, so if he thought they had a championship-winning roster, he'd be on a plane there right now. So that's why I kind of think it's Philly.
I agree with you.
I agree with you on that.
Let's wrap up here. Great show as always, guys. Obviously, if you're here on YouTube or TikTok, Ellis Highlight Reel is those two spots. Obviously, my Facebook on Brandon Ellis on Facebook is the other spot for the live shows. Also, follow me on Instagram and X at Instagram's at _BLS32. X is 30BLS. Also, we'll be starting the blogs back. I was going to do it tonight if we pushed it to tomorrow, but since it's free, I will finally get my first couple articles out once I get home from work and everything like that. So that's the plan. Get that going back up on ellishighlightreel.wordpress.com. That is the plan there. Shorts. I'm going to try to get a bunch of shorts out this weekend throughout many podcasts that we had for both sides. I just wanted to take maybe a couple week break from Cap. I wanted to take that break from it, and then try it again this week. I think Thursday is probably going to be the start of me editing and stuff like that. Trying to get
pushing stuff out.
Try to put the shorts out. It's not going to be many. It might be like one from the old episodes. To just try to get something out from like a couple episodes. So you see older clips from the older episodes that on my TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels. The on-demand version will be on YouTube if you want to watch the full clip for context. My Total Apex Sports guys, go ahead and promote wherever you guys have to promote.
I'll start. You can find me on Total Apex Sports. Just type in my name into Google, and the first thing pops up is my Total Apex Sports page. You can go there, find every article I've ever written for Total Apex Sports on there. You can also find me on Muckrack. I also have all of my articles posted on there as well. And just type in Jacob Perrine as well. You'll find me on Muckrack. And then for Instagram, you can find me at JDPerrine24, like it's put on the screen there. Shane, you want to highlight your stuff?
Yep. You can find me on Instagram, spelled that way, 2 Shanes. You can find me on X the same way, but the best place to find me is Total Apex Sports. And I'll just say I love basketball, but football season's coming up, and I'm going to be trying to print money on DFS, and I'd love to help as many other people get paid as well. So
especially with training camp going on, we're going to get lots of fantasy stuff coming up. So keep an eye out for Shane's stuff. He's our big fantasy guy over at Total Apex.
Yes. And speaking of, thank you, Jacob, for going to the fantasy expert. I think next week I'm going to start that Wednesday show with NFL.
Okay.
I think that is the plan. I might just have you two on for right now and then talk to Andrew and see what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's that, and then if he still wants to do it. And
that'll be a fun show.
That'll be a fun show. And mainly, I think what we're gonna do for summer stuff, it'll be fantasy football previews.
Yeah.
And all that fun stuff. And then when we get to actual preseason, we'll do some preseason storylines. And then that Wednesday opener with Seattle and New England. That evening, if we get on right at 7 that evening, we'll have a little bit of a preview for that game.
Yeah.
For the
Wait, what time does it come on? Does it come on early on Wednesday?
Yeah, no. So that it would be the NBC opener since it's on.
Yeah.
So the NBC kickoff, it would probably be 8:20. Okay.
So it will be like when we do it, it's like a little preview. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be a little bit of a preview. It won't be on live. The Netflix game that Thursday, I think, is a little earlier. I think it's like a little bit earlier of a kickoff. I think, or something like that, because it's on Netflix. It's the Rams and 49ers in Australia on that Thursday.
Yeah.
I think it's a 7 p.m. kickoff on Netflix that night.
I think you're right. I think it's a 7 p.m. kickoff. So,
I think it's a 7 p.m. kickoff.
It'll be a little bit earlier because of the time zone. So
yeah. So that I think that is that case. But that is
that's way down the line.
That's way down the line.
Yeah.
But that is next week. I think that is the plan. We're gonna do the NFL fantasy show and an NFL/fantasy show for football. Actually get into some of the rankings and look and Shane's stuff for rankings and react to that, and also do our stuff, Jacob, as well. So that's the plan for next. I think next Wednesday or Thursday. I'll keep.
Yeah.
But yeah. With that being said, this is Ellis, Brandon Ellis for the Ellis Highlight Reel. Peace out, everybody.